Hello? What if I fail before thinking? What if I fail? Let's start with self-confidence. Failure is not bad things, because there is something to be gained for failure. In fact, more often you fail, the more you gain. Larry Page. When I heard these words, I decided to do something about it. So I started running track and field. I learned to run and practice and practice and practice for about 2 years, and I became somewhat faster and was able to place in the top 3 at competition. So I wanted to try something different next. So I joined a baseball team. Baseball is a team game, and baseball has a lot of practice. I practiced hard with my teammates for 4 years, and I was able to get into the top 3 again. I learned from Larry Page's poem that if you make own challenges, you can meet a lot of things and a lot of people. I first encountered computer when I was in the first grade. If you ever used a computer when you were a little kid, you really know that you can only do few things on the computer when you were that young. And there are many other interests that you have more. In my case, I was running track and field. So I only had a little time to use computer. I used a little time to watch live video games on YouTube. Now I regret that I was so careless about watching YouTube at the time. In hindsight, it was more than enough for me to learn how to program. If I had studied programming standards back then, I might be able to make something closer to what I wanted to make in the past 5 months. In January, I didn't have any idea. So I decided to do something that would benefit the green school. So I started by asking the teachers what was the most difficult things for them. They told me that the most difficult thing was picking up the kids from school and taking them home. It seems that kindergarten teachers, in particular, have a lot of work to do. So they set up a WhatsApp group, and when child's parents alive, they write the child's name in the group and take the child to the gate. It seems that every one of them gets over 1,000 notifications a day. That's true. I thought, can we change the current situation by programming? So I decided to ask my friends who does programming at work to help me out. My friend's father said, making an app is not easy. Oops. He told me that it was not easy to make an app, that it would take more than a year even for him, a programmer engineer. But I still wanted to make it, so I decided to give it a try. The first thing I did was writing down an idea of what kind of application I wanted to create. Next, I drew a flowchart to make it easier to understand what function would be used. In this way, I used several symbols to clarify the function of the application I wanted to create. The next step was to draw a wireframe to decide what kind of screen I wanted to use. Wireframes are used to determine that look at the field on the application. For here, it was time to start programming. I had to make sure I had the necessary specification for programming, such as computer capacity and brain speed. There are many ways to do programming. There are various programming applications and language available for programming. It's time to program. I use Xcode look up the language from a website to program. I later realized that my computer had insufficient space for programming. I'm sure it worked on it, but but I'd like to show it to you. My planning is to put up a map like this. One of use the driver's location information to picking up at the future green school easier. There were times when I feel like I was going crazy things to do programming in my language. That was new to me so far, knowing that it meant to English. But I'm glad I got as far as I did. Now I'm debating whether to buy a desktop or a new Mac. So when I get a new programming-oriented computer, I will continue this and make future pickup easier. Why programming is so hard? Because there are there is 7 different programming languages that I know, and each of them has its own usage. Each language has its own characteristic. As you may have noticed, programming requires a lot of study. Since there are 7 languages, I asked Pakoka which language would be useful for me to learn. He said Java would be good for me to learn until my Mac arrived. There were a lot of difficulties in this process of working on this project. But this project helped me a lot of taking on challenges even though they are difficult. First of all, I knew that I couldn't do programming by myself. So I asked for advice from many people, which helped me to lose my shyness. In addition, I became more determined because I have tried new things every time, and over problem, I also had to keep track of my computer capacity. As I said at the beginning of this project, I want to change the future of parking at Green School for drop off and picking up times. Now I realize that there are many things to be gained even if you fail. Every time I learn something new, I thought myself to computer have infinite possibilities as long as you know how to use them properly. I am very grateful to the people who helped me with this during project, and to Ibu Emma for working with me to come up with this speech. My project is not over yet. I will continue to work hard to evolve my app and release more apps. Thanks a lot. Thank you.